Are you ready to unleash the full potential of Microsoft Excel? Whether you are a beginner, eager to learn, or an experienced user looking to level up your skills, you are in the right place. Excel is more than just rows and columns. It's a powerful tool that can transform the way you work with data. From simple calculations to complex data analysis, Excel's formula and function can supercharge your productivity and open doors to exciting career opportunities. In this course, we will delve deep into the world of advanced Excel formulas and functions. We will go beyond the typical sum and average functions, and we will explore powerful tools like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, index, if functions, and many more. You will learn how to manipulate and analyze data like a pro. By the end of this course, you will not only have a strong command of advanced Excel functions, but you will also gain the confidence to tackle complex data tasks. You will become a data wizard, and that can open countless doors in your career. So let's embark on this learning adventure together. I can't wait to see you inside the course. Let's get started. Formulas and functions are essential concepts in Excel. While they are related, they serve different purposes. So, talking about formulas, a formula is an expression that performs calculation using values, cell references, and operators. It is merely a statement. It always begins with equal to sign. For example, B3 upon B4, which are cell references, or 25 upon 5. Now, talking about function, in Excel, function is built in predefined formulas that perform specific operations. It is always written with function name followed by parentheses containing arguments required for calculation. Now you may have a question. What are arguments? Arguments are simply values or ranges which are written as inputs. For example, sum for the range of A1 to A10. Here, A1 to A10 is the argument or input or square root of 25. Right now, we have Excel worksheet in front of us which has quarterly sales data for TDC Limited. Let us try to improve our understanding of formulas and function. First, let us create formula for sum. Select the cell where we want the sum to appear. Currently, it is C9. Then write equal to, and now we will select the first cell reference, which is C4 plus C5 plus C6 plus C7, and enter. That's the total sales using formula. Now we will use function. To create function, select the cell where you want the result to appear. Currently we have selected C10. Then write equal to, which will be followed by the function name, which is sum, then opening parenthesis, and now we will select the range from C4 to C7 and close the parenthesis, enter. There you go. So now to make it more clear, I'll use a function formula text which will display formulas. There you go. Now you can see that in the cell D9 we have the formula and in D10 we have the function. There's one common thing, which is both of these begin with equal to sign. So that's it from this video. In Excel, there are two more ways to create formulas. First, go on the Formulas tab, then click on AutoSum. It will automatically select a certain range. You can also edit it if it's not correct. Enter. The second method is simply click on the Insert function in the Formulas tab or click on FX. Now you can simply type in the formula. Enter go. then OK. Here also, it has automatically selected the range, but we will edit it. There you go. So that was a quick tutorial about 2 more ways to create formulas. In Excel, arithmetic operators play a very important role, as Excel doesn't read formulas from left to right. Rather, take the strict order of operations. In this movie, we will have discussion around different operators and demonstrate how they work within formulas. Further, we will also discuss comparison operators such as greater than, less than, or equal to. There is an order of precedence. They start with minus sign used for negation and can occur at the start of an expression. Then we have percentage sign used to indicate a percentage, followed by a caret, which you can type as by pressing shift plus 6 key together. That indicates an exponent. So 3 caret 4 is equals to 3 to the power 4. Then the asterisk sign and forward slash used to indicate multiplication and division sign. Finally, plus and minus used to indicate addition and subtraction. A quick note that minus sign can be used for negation at start of expression or subtraction within an expression. Also, parentheses can change the order of operation. Now let's say if we take this expression 2 plus 3 into 4, currently its result would be 3 into 4 12 plus 2 14. But if we use parentheses, we will first add 2 plus 3, which is 5, multiplied by 4 and comes out to be 20. Comparison operators. You can interpret this as reading from left to right. Sideways V is wider on left and narrower to a point on right. So, a value on left would be greater than right. And it's vice versa. It checks whether a value on right would be greater than the value in left. This sign indicates greater than equal to. It checks if a value is greater than or equal to another. And similarly, less than equal to, which checks if a value is less than or equal to another. Equal to sign. In some programming languages, there are two equal to sign to check if value is equal, but in Excel, there is only one. Finally, less than sign followed by greater than checks if value is not equal to another. Each of these operations return value, true or false. So let's switch over to Excel and see how operators work within Excel. Currently, I have switched over to Excel. I am using the operators workbook, which you can find in chapter 1 folder of your exercise files collection. I am on the arithmetic worksheet and we will discuss some examples. To check for negative sign, type equal to followed by minus if we want the minus sign to occur in the first position. To represent value as percentage, type equal to 100 multiplied by 20%, which is 20. The caret represents exponent, so 2 to the power 3 should be 8. The asterisk and forward slash, as discussed, are used to indicate multiplication and division. So 2 multiplied by 3 divided by 2 should give us 3. And then plus and minus sign used to indicate addition and subtraction. So 2 plus 3 minus 4, it should be 1. If one of your formula returns unexpected result, then order of operations and parentheses is a great place to start looking. Now let's switch over to comparison worksheet. So is 2 greater than 3? The answer should be false. Yes. Similarly, is 3 less than 4? True. So similarly, we can use these operators to find if a certain expression is greater than equal to or not equal to. So that's it from this tutorial. I hope you were able to understand the order of precedence, its importance, and comparison operators as well. There are often times when we have to use formula again and again. In this video, I'll show you how to copy worksheet formulas and have the cell references change. This workbook has different products listed in column B, with the unit sold in column C and price per unit in column D. Now, let us find the revenue of product A, and we know that revenue is product of units sold and price per unit. So let's create a formula around that. First select the cell E3, then type equal to, then reference the cell C3 with your mouse or keyboard, then multiply it with D3. Enter. Now we also wish to find the revenue for other products. To do that, there are multiple ways. First, simply press Ctrl C and paste it in other cells of column E. We can do this for a range as well. But there is a one more time saving method which can be used. So let me delete these entries. Now, in order to use the second method, simply select the cell E3, E4, then take your cursor to the bottom right corner. A thick plus sign will change into thin plus sign. This is also known as fill handle, and then simply drag the fill handle all the way till E9. Or, so I'll press Ctrl Z, or we can double click as well. It will copy the formulas till E9 and automatically adjust the cell references in the formulas for remaining products. If we look at the cell references for E3, they are C3 and D3. For E4, they are C4 and D4. For E9, they are C9 and D9. This automatic adjustment or change of cell reference is relative referencing. There is one more type of referencing which we will discuss in the next video. Now, let's say I want to copy the formula in E3 to D12. If I simply copy paste, I'll get an error. Now can you think why? Because cell E3 is made up of two cells, C3 and D3. But cell D12 is made up of B12 and C12. That's the reason we are getting error. B12 currently contains a string and C12 has nothing. So that's the reason product of these two cells is giving us error. So we will use some other method. Well, there are few which are quite simple. So to start with, if you want to simply refer to that value, just select the cell where you want it to appear, then type equal to and refer to that cell with the mouse. Another scenario, let's say you do not want to refer value. So in this case, double click cell E3, press Ctrl A and Ctrl C. We can do this within the cell or the formula bar as well. Now press escape to remove selection and simply copy paste. Here you can see that we get the right answer, and right now it is composed of two cells, which is C3 and D3. Now there is one more method to keep the result of formula, but not the formula itself. To do that, click the cell which contains formula. Here it is E3, then press Ctrl C. Now I want to paste its values only. So there's a keyboard sequence for that. Now note, it is a keyboard sequence, not a shortcut. That means we need to press these keys separately. First, select the cell where you want the result to appear. We will press Alt key. Now you see we are working with ribbons using keyboard. Now press H for home tab, V for paste. Now just look at the first letter on the third row under paste values. There is a V. Simply press V because we want to paste values only. And there you go. It is no longer a formula and we can copy the value in other cells as well. And we will get the exact same values. Initially, copy and pasting formulas can be a little challenging, but after few mistakes, you will be able to get command over it. There are often times when you want to fix a cell reference or keep it constant while copying formulas or filling formulas. So in this situation, absolute referencing comes into picture. So in this video, we are going to discuss the same. In this workbook, in column A, we have months. In column B, quantity sold for different months and a price which is 50. And we wish to calculate the revenue. We know that revenue is merely a product of quantity sold and price. So let's create a formula around that. First, select the cell where you want the result to appear, which is cell C4. Then type equal to, select the cell reference B4, multiply C1, enter. And now if I double click on the fill handle, I get error 0. Why is that? Because if you look at the cell references in revenue for cell C4, we have B4 and C1. But for cell C5, we have B5 and C2. But we want the cell C1 to remain constant. So to do that, we will use absolute referencing. We will just modify this formula by pressing F4. And now you can see the dollar sign. This means this cell will remain fixed. Enter. And now if I double click on the fill handle, I get the right answer. If you now look at the cell reference, we have B4 and C1. For cell C5, we have B5 and C1. For cell C6, B6 and C1. So that's the utility of absolute referencing. We can define name for specific area of cell or range of cells. We can name a single cell and give it a name in name bar. Now, we don't need to remember the rate. Just simply type in, press tab, enter. We can also name a range of cells. To do that, first select the range, go to Formulas tab, create from selection. Just take top row, OK. We can also edit or delete values by clicking in Name Manager. And now we can use them anywhere where we use a formula. Similarly, we can also get the list of names. So that was a quick tutorial about named range. Getting help in Excel. Sometimes there is a possibility that you don't know how to use a specific function. You can obviously Google it or YouTube as well, but within Excel, you can get help. In this video, we will discuss the same. The data summarizes revenue generated in different quarters. To find total revenue, we will use the sum function. But let's say we want to get help from Excel. So to do that, just type in the search bar sum function. Just click on sum function under get help. So now a help dialog box will appear in front of us where the definition of the sum function, some examples and even video tutorial is available. So in this way, you can take help from Excel. Summarizing data or fundamental summary plays a crucial role in data analysis. Mean, median, mode are some of the parameters that offers unique insights of a dataset. It also helps us to understand data, identify patterns, trends, and makes data more manageable. In this video, we will discuss some of the measures like mean, median, maximum, range that will help us to summarize data. This workbook contains data for 2022 ticket sales, where we have different movie genres and sales within different months. Talking about mean first, it represents average value. To calculate mean in Excel, select this cell where you want the mean to appear. Here it is C18. Now in Excel, we don't have a function by the name of mean, rather by the name of average. Now select the range, close the parenthesis, enter. Moving on, we have median, which is the middle value when the data is arranged ascending or descending order. To calculate median, we are going to use another method. So first select the cell where you want the median to appear. Then head over towards the formulas tab in ribbon. Now go in more functions, statistical, and here we are going to find median. Double click and then simply select the range. Enter. To calculate mode, which is the most frequent value in dataset, we are again going to use another method. First select the cell where you want the mode to appear. Then click on function, insert function, then just type mode and click on go and OK. Now again select the range. Enter. And to calculate the rest of the parameters, same method or any of the above techniques can be used. So I'll quickly calculate the other parameters. To calculate range, there is no explicit formula in Excel. So we'll simply subtract maximum and minimum. There you go. That's our range. So quickly I'll just format this. Yes. And to find the parameters for other genres, I'll use the fill handle and drag it towards the right. Now there's an error when we are trying to calculate mode for documentary genre, and the reason for that is there is no mode for this specific data set. So that's why it is showing error. So we can simply click on ignore error. So that's it from this tutorial. We'll see you in the next video. AutoSum is a convenient feature in Excel that allows us to quickly calculate sum of range of numbers with a single click or keyboard shortcut. In order to do this, first select the cell where you want the sum to appear. Then click on Auto Sum in Editing group of Home tab. Or you can also press Alt equal to activate it. Excel automatically tries to identify range of cells adjacent to selected cell with numeric values. Suggested range will be outlined, and if that suggested range is correct, press enter. If not, we can manually adjust the range as well by clicking and dragging. Now I'll just simply press enter. We can also use the keyboard shortcut Alt equal to. So this is a time saving tool which you should use whenever you have the opportunity. Now let me draw your attention to another intriguing tool that enables us to achieve this. The Quick Analysis tool is a powerful feature that provides quick and interactive way to analyze data. So let me first delete this. To activate it, first select the range of data. You will see a small icon in the bottom right corner. Click on it to activate it, or we can also use a keyboard shortcut Ctrl Q. Clicking on this option offers a range of tools like formatting, charts, totals. And if we click on totals, we see submenu with various options like sum, average, count. And if we hover the cursor over these, we can see the results as well. So I'll just click on the sum. So that was a quick tutorial about auto sum and quick analysis tool. Hope you enjoyed it. Sometimes we need to rank students based on their test scores, employees based on their performance, or product based on sales figures. In this movie, we are going to discuss how to use rank function in Excel. Rank function assigns a numerical rank to each value, indicating its position relative to other values in the dataset. The rank function is particularly useful when you want to compare and order data points based on their magnitude or performance. We have the following dataset of test scores in column B and the corresponding student names in column A. So first select the cell where we want the rank to appear. Here it is C2. Then type equal to rank.eq. Now our first argument is number. So select the cell B2. Then select the column B and enter. Now with the help of fill handle, we will find the rank for other numbers as well. Excel will automatically adjust the formula for each student's test score. As you can see, the rank function has assigned the appropriate ranks to each student based on their test scores, allowing us to quickly identify their relative performance in the test. If we want to find out the highest entry, we have max function, and similarly for lowest entry, we have min function. But at times, we want to know the second largest or the third lowest value in the dataset. In such situations, we can use large and small function present in Excel. To use large function, first select the cell where you want the result to appear, then type equal to large. So our first argument is array, which means what we are looking for. We are looking for test scores in column C. So simply select column C. Then our second argument is k, which means the nth highest value. Here it is 2. So you can simply type 2 or select the cell F4. Enter. And now I'll use the fill handle to find the rest of the values. So it means the third highest value in the dataset is 47. The 10th highest value is 33. Similarly, to find the second lowest value, we'll follow the same process. So the second lowest value is 19. So in conclusion, Excel's large and small functions are useful for getting certain values based on their ranking inside a dataset. They are useful for data analysis, especially for identifying the top or bottom values in a list or array. In Excel, the countBlank function is used to count the number of blank cells within a specified range. It helps us quickly determine how many cells in a given range are empty or do not contain any values. Currently, in this workbook, we have the following dataset with name of students in column C and the corresponding test scores in column D. We wish to find out the number of students who didn't take test. So in an empty cell, just type equal to and count blank and select the range. Close the parenthesis, enter. So there are 8 students who didn't give test. Now let's say in a hypothetical scenario, you want to assign 0 to all the blank cells. So obviously one method is to do it manually, or a time saving method would be to first select the range of these test scores. So simply press Ctrl H. It is a shortcut for find and replace dialog box. Now we will leave the first box empty, which is find what, and replace with 0, and simply just click on replace all. There you go. Just in few seconds replaced all the values, all the blank cells with 0. And now you can see that there are no blank cells. In cell F4 we can see the numeric value 0. Count and counta. These are two separate functions that are quite like each other yet are quite different. In this video, we will be discussing each of these and will also have a look at the status bar. In Excel, the count function is used to count the number of cells within a specified range that contains only numeric values. It ignores empty cells, cells with text, or cells with errors. So to use count function, first select the cell where you want the result to appear. Then type in equal to count and select the range. We will get the result as 19 because it has excluded the first cell, which is a text entry. Now talking about Countif function, it is used to count the number of cells within a specified range that are not empty. It includes all cells that have any type of data such as numbers, text, dates, and even cells with errors. Now again, to use counta function, just select the cell where you want the result to appear. Then type in equal to counta and select the range. Here the result would be 20. Yes. So I think till now things would be pretty much sorted. So now again select the range, and now let's head over towards the status bar. Status bar is a narrow bar located at the bottom of the Excel window. It displays various statistics related to the selected data such as average, count, numerical count, min, max, sum. If for some reason you are not able to see these statistics, just right click on it and then you can just ensure that these parameters are checked. And now if you see that numerical count is 19, which is equal to the count that we calculated, and the count is 20, which is equivalent to count A. So at times this can be a bit confusing, but this is how it is represented in Excel. So if things are a bit overwhelming and are not clear, I would suggest you to watch this video again. So that's it from this video. There are instances where we need to find random numbers, let's say for random sampling, or to find out the lottery winner, or to do statistical analysis, or even in artificial intelligence and machine learning. In Excel, we have functions like rand and rand between, which can easily generate random numbers. In this movie, we are going to simulate a lottery game and will understand the use of these two functions. So currently in this worksheet we have certain participants and our task is to find out the lottery winner using rand and rand between functions to create random numbers. The person with the highest total of these numbers wins the lottery. So in column C, first we are going to generate random numbers with the rand function. The rand function generates a random decimal number between 0 and 1, including 0 but excluding 1. So to use it, select the cell, then type in equal to rand and just double click. Now remember that the values generated by the rand function or even the rand between function, they change every time Excel recalculates. So we want to ensure that these values are fixed. Now to do that, there is a simple trick to it. First select the range, then go on the right border of the selected range. A thick plus sign will change into thin plus sign. Now right click and just drag and bring it back to its original position. And just click on copy here as values only. Now these values are fixed. So similarly, we are going to generate random numbers using rand between function. The rand between function generates a random integer between a specified range of values which are both inclusive. So to use it, select the cell and type in equal to rand between. I'll just press tab now. Now the bottom range, let's say 10, and the top, let's say 500. Enter and double click the fill handle. And now again we are going to fix these values. Yes, so we have generated random numbers. Now our task is to find the highest total of these numbers. So first let's calculate the sum of these two numbers. And to do that, we are going to use quick analysis tool. Control Q, go on the totals and then click on sum. So it will help us to find the sum row wise. So let me just quickly format this. Yes. And from these, we can easily find out that 482 is the highest number. So the winner of this lottery is Peter. And this is how rand and rand between functions are used for various utilities. So in summary, the rand and rand between functions in Excel are powerful tools for generating random numbers. The rand function produces random decimals between 0 and 1. Excel's round, round up, and round down functions are invaluable tools for precision in numerical calculations. They allow us to tailor numbers to desired decimal places, ensuring results that match user needs for analysis, presentation, and decision making. The round function in Excel is used to round a number to a specified number of decimal places. It rounds the number to the nearest value based on the specific decimal place. So to use round function, first select the cell where you want the result to appear. Here it is P2. Then type in equal to round. Our first argument is number. So select cell A2. Then the second argument is num digits, the number of decimal places to which we want to round. So here I'll type 2. And the result should be 38.11. And I'll just double click the fill handle. Roundup function is quite similar to round function, but in this, Excel rounds a number up to a specified number of decimal places, ensuring the result is always equal to or greater than the original number. So to use this function, again we will follow the same process. Then select the number, cell A2, and here let's write 3. So the result should be 38.106. Let's say if in this scenario, I change the number of digits to 4. Even in this case, the result will be 38.1057. So now I'll just double click the fill handle. And similarly, we can use the round down function, as it will always ensure the result is equal to or less than the original number. We'll select the cell A2 again, and here let's type the number 2 and enter. So we'll just simply double click. That's it. So that was round, round up and round down function. mround, ceiling and floor functions offer flexibility in handling numbers in various scenarios, ensuring accuracy in calculations and data representation. These functions are helpful when we need to work with data that should be aligned to specific intervals or multiples. So let us discuss all these functions one by one. So talking about the mround function in Excel, it is used to round a number to the nearest multiple of a specified value. It's particularly useful when we want to align numbers to specific increments. So first select the cell where you want the result to appear, then type in mround. Now we'll select the cell A2 as our first argument. Then the second argument is multiple, the value to which we want to round. So let's say 10. So the nearest multiple of 10, which is closest to 94, is 90. So that's why the result is 90. For 79, the result should be 80. And now I'll just double click the fill handle. So that's how we use mround function. So talking about these two functions, ceiling.math and floor.math, these are the latest functions that are available in Excel. Ceiling and floor functions are still available, but these two functions are the updated versions of the previous two functions. So talking about the ceiling.math function, this function rounds a number up to the nearest multiple of a specified value, but it provides more control over the rounding direction. It rounds away from 0, making positive numbers round up and negative numbers round down to the next multiple of the significance. So to apply ceiling.math function, again select the cell where you want the result to appear, then type in ceiling.math. So here we'll select the cell I2, then the significance. So let's just type 10, enter. And if you double click now, you can see that all the numbers have been rounded up towards the closest multiple of 10. Now let's say if we add another argument, which is mode, and here if we type 1, it means that it will round the numbers away from 0. So let me show this to you. Now if I'll double click the fill handle, you can see that now minus 1.2 is rounded towards minus 10, which is away from 0. Similarly, minus 11.5. So that's the utility of ceiling.math function. And similarly, we can apply the floor.math function as well. The mode function in Excel is used to calculate the remainder when one number is divided by another. It is particularly useful when we want to find out what's left after dividing one number by another. So let's try to understand this function. Currently in this worksheet, we have some list of numbers, and let's divide them by 5 and try to calculate the remainder using mode function. So our first argument is number. I'll select the cell B2 and the divisor will be 5. Enter. So the remainder is 2, and similarly we can find the remainder for the rest of the numbers. So that was an example of mode function. Now let's try to apply it to a replica of real world example. So head over towards the sales data worksheet. In this, we have sales data for year 2022 with months in column B and respective sales in column C. Suppose we have to track the monthly sales of a product and we want to highlight sales data for specific periods such as quarters. Since we have to highlight quarters, we will use mode function for that. So first we will select the cell D4 and here we will extract the month number from the date in column B. To do that, type in the formula equal to text. I'll select the cell B4 and in double inverted commas we'll type M, which denotes month. So basically this is a text function which will convert the month name towards the month number. We will discuss text function in detail in our upcoming videos. So when I press enter, I'll get 4 and similarly I'll just double click the fill handle. Now we will highlight the quarter using mode function. So in cell E4, we'll type equal to mode. Here our number is 4 and divisor will be 3 because there are 3 months in a quarter. So whenever we get remainder as 0, it will be the quarter. So when I double click, we can find out that June is 1 quarter, September is again 1 quarter, similarly December and March. Now we will use conditional formatting to highlight the quarterly sales data. So first select the range of cells in column B. After that, in Excel's ribbon of Home tab, go to Conditional Formatting in Style group. This will open a drop-down menu. In here, select New Rule. Then click on Use a formula to determine which cells to format. In the formula box, enter the following formula equal to E4 to E15 equals to 0. This formula checks if the value in the corresponding cell of column E equals 0. If yes, then it will highlight certain cells where the condition is true and then click on Format. Here we can define the formatting we want to apply to cells meeting the condition. For example, here we can choose a fill color or font color to highlight the cells. So here I'm going to choose yellow color and press OK. Again OK, and there you go. Now the cells in column B with sales data will be highlighted if the value in column E is equals to 0, making it easier for us to identify specific sales period that meets this condition. Sometimes in Excel, we want to calculate some of the rows that are visible or just simply bypass an error and calculate the parameter. In this scenario, Aggregate function comes in handy. In this video, we will learn to apply Aggregate function. In the current sheet, we have revenue for different products and the total revenue is already been calculated using sum function. Now let's say we want to hide few rows and we don't want to consider them while calculating total revenue. So let me first hide few rows. If we look at the total revenue, there is no change in it. So here we will apply Aggregate function. To do that, first select the cell where you want the result to appear, then type in equal to Aggregate function. And now we will simply type the first parameter. So what are we trying to calculate? We are trying to calculate the sum. So we'll simply type 9, comma. Now we want to ignore hidden rows. So we'll type 5. And now simply select the array, which is the revenue. Close the parenthesis, enter. So let's look at another example. Let's head over towards ticket sales. Here we have the ticket sales for year 2021 and 2022. and then the change calculated between these 2 years. And by now, you would have surely observed these error values for sum and average. And these are error because if you look at the column F, there are errors in some of the cells. So let's ignore these errors and try to calculate sum and average. So again, we'll follow the same process and we'll type in 9, comma. This time we want to ignore error values. So we'll type in 6 and the array. So simply select cell F6, then Control Shift down arrow key. It will select all the data of the column F and close the parenthesis, enter. So this is the sum value, and to calculate the average, we'll type 1 for average and again 6 and similarly select the array, enter. So this is the average value 18,547. Thus, aggregate function saves time and reduces errors when working with data by automating common calculations. They allow us to efficiently analyze data and generate meaningful summaries without the need for complex formulas. Whether we are working with financial data, student grades, or any kind of data set, aggregate function provides valuable insights for decision making and reporting. Logical functions are essential tools in Excel that enables us to perform tasks based on logical conditions or criteria. These functions helps us make decisions, evaluate data, and automate calculations by applying logical tests to our data. Logical functions evaluate whether a specific condition is true or false, and they allow us to respond accordingly with different outcomes or actions. Excel offers a range of logical functions that cater to different scenarios, from simple decisions to complex analysis. Whether we are comparing values, checking for specific patterns, or determining the truth of a statement, logical functions provide the framework for dynamic and intelligent calculations in spreadsheets. The if function is a fundamental tool in Excel that allows us to make logical decisions and perform different actions based on a specific condition. It's like Excel's way of asking, if this condition is true, do this, otherwise, do that. So currently in this worksheet, we have employee names in column A, and in subsequent columns, we have years, benefits, departments, salary, job rating. And our task is to assign bonus amounts for employees based on their job rating. Employees with a rating of 5 or 4 will receive a bonus of 10,000, and employees with a rating of 1, 2, or 3 will receive a bonus of 5,000. So to apply if function, first select the cell where you want the result to appear. Here it is G2. Then type in equal to if. So our first argument would be select cell F3 greater than 3 or greater than equal to 4. Then assign bonus of 10,000. If not, then assign bonus of 5,000. Close the parenthesis, enter. Since the job rating is 3, so the bonus is 5,000, and we can simply double click the fill handle. There you go. With such ease, we were able to assign bonus to all the employees. The nested if function. It is a powerful extension of the standard if function in Excel. It allows us to build more complex decision-making structures by incorporating multiple conditions and outcomes within a single formula. With nested if, we can evaluate multiple criteria and define corresponding actions based on various scenarios, all within one formula. Currently in this worksheet, we have employee names in column A and details in subsequent columns about employees. And in this video again, we will be assigning bonus to employees based on their ratings. But here we have more than two conditions. So we will try to incorporate all the conditions in one formula. So first select the cell G2, then type in equal to if, and here we will give the first argument. So the idea is, first we will write the logical test, then if true, the bonus amount. If not true, then we are going to write another if function with another logical test. And in same fashion, we will try to incorporate all these conditions. So the first argument, if job rating is greater than equal to 4 or greater than 3, then assign the bonus. So if not, then we will define another if function. If job rating is greater than 1, then 10,000. And if not, then 5,000. Double click the file handle and there you go. We can see that for 5, 15,000 is assigned. For job rating 1, 5,000 is assigned. Thus, the nested if function empowers us to make intricate decisions in our Excel worksheet, accommodating various possibilities in a streamlined manner. This advanced feature allows us to handle multi-level scenarios with elegance and efficiency. In Excel, logical operators are used to perform comparisons and make logical decisions based on specified conditions. These operators allow us to combine, modify, or negate conditions to create more complex logical expressions for data analysis and decision making. In this movie, we will discuss two operators, and, or, and how to practically use them. In column A, we have student names, and in subsequent columns, we have their math and English test scores. We have to find out the students who have failed both the exams or at least one exam. To find out the students who have failed both the exams, we will use AND operator. The AND operator returns true if all the conditions specified are true. Let us understand how to apply it. First select the cell D4, then type in if. Now, here we will define the logical test using AND operator. Now within AND, whatever logical expression we will give, it has to ensure that all of them are fulfilled. If all of these are fulfilled, then it will return true. If not, then false. So our condition is math test score, which is cell F4, should be less than 20, comma, English score should also be less than 20. If this condition is true, that means math test score is less than 20 and English test score is less than 20, then this whole expression is true. And then if this whole expression is true, then we want the result to be fail. And if not, then simply the result should be no. And make sure that these fail and no expression are written in inverted commas because they are string. Enter. Yes. So the result for the first expression is no, because both these marks are greater than 20. So it means that only one student, Beck, failed both the exams. Now let's say we want to find out if a student has failed any of the exam, and for that we will use OR operator. The OR operator returns true if at least one of the conditions specified is true. So to apply it, select the cell and type in equal to if, then OR operator, and here as well we will define all the logical expressions. So the first expression less than 20 and the second as well less than 20. So it means that if any of the expressions is true, then the result will be true. Otherwise, it will be false. So if the whole expression is true, we want the result to be failed. And if not, then pass. Yes. And just double click the fill handle. There you go. So now we can see that there are students who have failed at least one exam. So that's how we use and or operator. Understanding and using logical operators like and or in Excel is essential for creating dynamic and intelligent spreadsheets. These operators empower us to make more sophisticated decisions and perform data analysis that consider a range of conditions. The ifs function in Excel is designed to handle multiple conditions within a single formula. The ifs function is often considered better than using nested if functions in Excel. However, this function requires Excel 2019 or later versions. If you are using an older version, you can achieve similar functionality using nested if functions, which we have already discussed, or the choose function, which we will discuss later in this course. We have already performed this task using nested if function, but today we are going to use ifs function. So to apply it, first select the cell where you want the result to appear. Here it is G2, then type in ifs, and here we will define the first logical test, that is if job rating is greater than equal to 4, then assign bonus of 15,000. If job rating is greater than equal to 2, then assign bonus of 10,000. And if job rating is equals to 1, then assign bonus of 5,000. Enter. There you go. And just double click the fill handle. So we can see that it has correctly assigned bonus. For job rating 3, bonus is 10,000. For job rating 5, it is 15,000. For job rating 1, it is 5,000. So that's it for this video. Countif, Sumif, and Averageif are powerful functions in Excel that allows us to perform calculations based on specific criteria. These functions are incredibly useful for analyzing data that meet certain conditions, enabling us to count, sum, or average values that fulfill our specific requirements. In this video, we have 6 tasks in front of us, and with the help of these, we will understand the practical application of these functions. So talking about the Countif function first, it counts the number of cells within a range that meets a specific condition. So let us discuss this with the help of these two tasks that are clubbed under Countif function. So our first task is to count the number of expenses categorized as utilities, where you want the result to appear. Then type in equal to Countif. After that, so the first argument is range and second argument is criteria. Criteria means what are we looking for, and range means where are we going to find it. So we are looking for utilities and we will find it in column A. So to give criteria, there are two methods. We can simply type utilities, or the other method is to refer the cell where utilities is written. So here I'll refer cell A6. close the parenthesis, enter. So 11 number of times expenditure has been incurred on utilities. Now the second task, which is to count the number of times expenditure was greater than $15. Again, we will use the counter function. Now for the first argument, we'll select column C where we have the amount. Here we are going to give a criteria which is expenditure greater than $15. So in double inverted commas, greater than 15. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 50 is the number of times expenditure was greater than $15. Now, talking about Sumif function. The Sumif function calculates the sum of values within a range that meets a specific condition. So, our first task is to calculate the total amount spent on entertainment. Now, there are three arguments. First is range, second is criteria. Criteria is what are we looking for, and range, where are we going to find it. So, we are looking for entertainment, which you will find in column A. And for criteria, I'll refer cell A3. And for some range, we will refer the column C. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 296 is the total amount spent on entertainment. Similarly, we are going to calculate the total amount spent at home. Here we are looking for home and we will find in column D. And we'll refer cell A10 and the sum range will refer column C. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 523 is the total amount spent at home. So let's finally discuss Averageif function. This function calculates the average of values within a range that meets a specific condition. So our first task is to find the average amount spent on expenses at car rental. So again, we'll follow the same procedure. So what are we looking for? We are looking for car rental, which we'll find in column D. For criteria, we'll refer the cell D19. And for average range, column C. Close the parenthesis, enter. So this means 25 is the average amount spent on expenses at car rental. And similarly, we are going to find the average amount spent on expenses as cafe B equal to Averageif. So we are looking for cafe B and we'll find in column D. Close the parenthesis, enter. There you go. 33.2 is the average amount spent on expenses as cafe B. So all these functions are essential tool for data analysis in Excel. They streamline the process of working with specific subsets of data, enabling us to count occurrences, calculate sums, and determine averages based on specific conditions. These functions enhance the efficiency and accuracy of calculations, making our Excel workflows more powerful and dynamic. There are situations when we have to apply multiple criteria simultaneously to analyze and summarize data based on specific conditions. In certain scenarios, we have to deal with large datasets and we need to extract specific information from the data. In today's video, we are going to discuss Countifs, Sumifs, and Averageifs. In this worksheet, we have the data for salesperson who sold certain product with certain quantity, sales amount, location on certain date. And we are going to discuss all these functions one by one. So talking about Countifs first, the Countifs function counts the number of cells that meets multiple criteria. It's particularly handy when we want to determine how many times specific conditions are met. So let me demonstrate the application of this function with the help of the task written in front of us. The first task is to count the number of times product A was sold by Joe. So here we have two conditions. First, product A, and second is Joe. So to find it, first select the cell where you want the result to appear. Then type equal to Countifs. Now the criteria range and the criteria. So one by one we are going to state all the criterias. Here we have specifically two arguments, criteria range 1 and criteria 1. Criteria 1 is what are we looking for. Criteria range 1 is where are we going to find that criteria. So we are looking for product A, which we will find in column C. And for product A, we'll refer the cell C2. Now criteria range 2, criteria 2. So criteria 2 is Joe, and we are going to find Joe in column B. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 6 is the number of times product A was sold by Joe. Similarly, second task can be done. We'll again follow the same process. Here we have three conditions, product C, Bob, Texas. So product C, we are going to find it in column C and we'll refer the cell C5. Then Bob in column B, we'll refer the cell B3. Then Texas in column F, we'll refer the cell F3. Enter. So 2 is the number of times product C was sold by Bob at Texas. So the next function is Sumifs. This function calculates the sum of values that meets multiple criteria. This function is valuable for calculating the total of certain values while considering specific conditions. So again, we'll follow the similar process. The range of cells containing the value we want to sum, which is column E, sales amount. Now again, we are going to state all the criterias. Now again, we will state all the criterias in the same manner we stated for Countifs function. So here we have two conditions, product B and Bob. Product B, we are going to find it in column C and we'll refer the cell C3, and Bob in column B in cell B3. Enter. So 960 is the total sales for product B sold by Bob. Now we'll approach the second task in the same fashion. It's just there's one more condition, product C, David, and along with that we have one more condition, which is London. So sum range, again column E, criteria 1, product C, then David in column B, and London in column F. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 120 is the total sales amount for product C sold by David at London. So I think things would be pretty much clear till now. So let's move ahead and talk about Averageifs function. This function calculates the average of values that meets multiple criteria. It's an excellent tool for obtaining a more nuanced view of data by finding the average of a subset that adheres to specific condition. So again, we'll follow the similar process. First select the cell where we want the result to appear and type in equal to Averageifs. Now our first criteria is average range. Now here we are looking for average quantity sold and we'll find quantity in column D. So we'll refer the column D. Criteria 1 is product C by Carol. Column B, cell B5. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 2 is the average quantity sold for product C by Carol. And in the similar manner, last task can be done. So I'll give you this as homework. Maxifs and Minifs are powerful tools for pinpointing the highest and lowest values based on specific conditions. Whether we are analyzing sales data, exam scores, or any numeric dataset, both these functions enable us to extract valuable insights with precision. Currently, in this worksheet, we have date in column A, salesperson in column B, product in column C, sales amount and location in column D and column E, respectively. Our first task is to find the maximum sales amount in the north region. To do that, we will use Maxifs function. So the first step is to select the cell where we want the result. Currently it is G2. Then type equal to Maxifs. Our first argument is maximum range, and for that we will refer column D. Then we have criteria range 1 and criteria 1. Criteria 1 is what we are looking for, and criteria range 1, where are we going to find it? We are looking for north region and we will find in column E. So for criteria range 1, we will refer column E and north for criteria 1. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 3806 is the maximum sales amount in the north region. Now for the second task, we have one more condition, which is product C. So we want to find the maximum sales amount in north region for product C. So we can just edit this formula and we will give one more condition. So now we are looking for product C and we will find in column C. And for criteria 2, we will refer product C. Close the parenthesis, enter. So we can just accept the correction. So 160 is the maximum sales amount in the north region for product C. Similarly, we can use the Minifs function. So I would suggest you to try the other two tasks on your own. The subtotal feature in Excel allows us to perform calculations on a range of data while maintaining the structure of the data. It is particularly useful when we want to apply functions like sum, average, count, etc. to specific groups within the dataset, such as categories, regions, or departments. Subtotals not only calculates subtotals but also adds grouping levels, making it easier to analyze and summarize large datasets. So currently in column A we have date column, and in column B we have different salesperson who have sold respective products like product A, product B, product C, which can be seen in column C at different location for different sales amount. So in this video, we are particularly going to understand how to find out subtotal. Now there are two ways. To find out subtotal. So for the first method, we are going to select certain rows with the help of control key. So first, we'll select row 15. Now we will go down and now I'll press control key and then row 30. Now when I'm going down, I am not pressing control key. Now again I'll press control key So this way we have selected multiple rows. And now simply right click and insert. So now after every sublocation we have inserted a blank row. And now we will select all the blank cells in column E. Now again press Ctrl key and select cell E31, and in similar manner we will again select cell E40 and E48. Now press Alt equal to. So here we have the subtotal where we have grouped all the rows on basis of location. So for east location, total sales amount is 33,345. For north, we have 35,795. For south, it is 20,153. Now in this case, the data set is small. But what if we are working with hundreds or thousands of data set? In that case, we have a shortcut method which we can use for both small data set or even for large data set. So let's head over towards sheet 2. Now, first we will select the data set, press Ctrl A. Now go towards the data tab and within that click on subtotal. So we will change at each change in to location. We want the sum and just ensure that the sales amount is checked and press OK. So now you can see that within few seconds we were able to find the subtotal for all the regions. And we can also play with the granularity of the data. So right now we are at its most granular level. Now if I click on 2, now we just have the subtotals for east, north, south, and we also have the grand total. And if you click on 1, then we only have the grand total. So that's it for this video. When dealing with extensive data tables, manually searching or extracting information is time consuming and prone to errors. VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP streamline this process by automating data retrieval based on given criteria. In this movie, we are going to demonstrate how to apply these functions. Currently, in this worksheet, we have the data for student name, their student ID, course and the respective scores. And we wish to extract the student name for specific ID. We want to retrieve data for the ID 1005. To do that, we will use VLOOKUP function. The VLOOKUP function searches for a value in the leftmost column of a range and returns a value in the same row from a specified column. So to apply it, first select the cell, here it is G3, then type equal to VLOOKUP. So the first argument is lookup value, the value we want to search for in the leftmost column of the table. So it is 1005. So we will give the reference of cell F3, comma, the second argument, which is table array. It means the range that contains the data we want to search through. So here we will select all the data. Then column, the column number in the table array from which we want to retrieve the result. Counting start from first for column 1. So student name is in column 2. And the last argument is range lookup, which is optional parameter and it means either true or false. If true, VLOOKUP will perform an approximate match, and if false, it will perform an exact match. So here we will give the argument as false. Close the parenthesis, enter. So the student name is David Davis for the ID 1005. Now similarly, we are going to extract student name for the ID 1020. And for that, we will use this table. Now we can observe that the orientation of this table and this table is quite different. So as a result, we are going to use HLOOKUP because it searches horizontally across the top row of a range and retrieves data from a specified row. So in similar manner, we will apply HLOOKUP. Our lookup value is 1020, which is cell O2, then table array. Now row index. We will find student name in row 2, comma, false. Close the parenthesis, enter. So Olivia Turner is the student name for the student ID 1020. So in summary, VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, both these functions streamline the process of finding specific data points within a dataset. Their efficiency, accuracy, and versatility makes them essential tools for anyone working with Excel, especially when dealing with large and complex datasets. When we want to display a specific text or values based on condition, or to assign custom categories or labels based on index numbers, which can be useful for classifying items, products, or data points, choose function can be used. The choose function empowers us to make selections based on numeric indices, offering flexibility and efficiency in scenarios where different options or actions need to be determined dynamically. In this video, we have the following data of student name, their courses, and the respective grades. And we are going to discuss how to apply choose function, and later on we will also discuss how to apply switch function. So in order to apply choose function, first select the cell, here it is F2, and type choose. So the first argument is index number, the numeric position of the value we want to choose. And the second argument is values. Here we are going to assign the list of the ratings, which can be seen in column J. So for the first argument, we will refer the cell D2, and now we will assign the list as values. So to do that, select the cell J3 and press F4. This is done to fix the cell. It is known as absolute referencing. Now we'll use a simple trick. We will press Ctrl and then simply select the next value. It will automatically put in comma and make the other values absolute. Now just ensure that Ctrl key is pressed and select cell J4, J5, J6, J7. Close the parenthesis, enter, and just double click the fill handle. There you go. So just have a look at this formula and try to understand the functioning of choose function. So in the first argument, we have assigned the index number, and in the rest of the argument, we have assigned values as list. Now, the first value is very good, which has the index value of 1. Similarly, the second value is good, which has the index value of good. Now, since in the first argument, our index value was 1, that's why the result is very good. If we look at the formula of cell F4, here the index value is 3 and the value at index 3 is average. So that's why the result is average. And just keep in mind that choose function is useful when we have a predefined list of values and we want to select one of them based on a given condition or index number. It is not suitable for complex lookup scenarios where we need to search for a value in range or table. So similarly, we can also use switch function. It is used to evaluate an expression against a list of values and returns a corresponding result based on a match. So to apply it, type switch. So for the first argument, we will refer the cell D2. Now we have two arguments, value and result. So in the columns I and j, we have grades and rating. So the list of grades is the values and the ratings is the result. So for grade 1, we have the rating very good. So 1 is the value 1 and very good is the result 1. And now we are going to follow the same process of assigning these values. Select cell I3, press F4 for absolute referencing, and now we'll simply press Ctrl key and we will select all other arguments. Close the parenthesis, enter, and double click the fill handle. There you go. That's our answer. And that's how we use choose and switch function. Suppose we have a worksheet with 5000 rows containing 5000 names, and we need to find the name John Doe, which we know appears somewhere only once in the list. Wouldn't it be better if we know a formula that would return the row number that contains that name? Or we know a formula to retrieve data with the help of row and column number. The match function enables us to find the first occurrence of a match to a given text string or number within a given array, and the index function helps to retrieve information. And in this video, we are going to demonstrate how to apply these functions. Currently, we have the data with employee names in column A and their respective characteristics like years, benefits, and so on in the corresponding columns. And we wish to extract the row number for the employee names given in column I. And to do that, we will use the match function. First select the cell J2 and type equal to match. Now, the first argument is lookup value, which is the value we are trying to match in the lookup range. So for this, we will refer cell I2. The second argument is lookup range or lookup array. For that, we will refer column A, and then the third argument is match type, which has three options. Match type equal to 1 requires the lookup range to consist of numbers listed in ascending order, and match type minus 1, it requires numbers listed in descending order, and match type 0 returns the row location in the lookup range that contains the first exact match to the lookup value. So here we will use the match type 0. Close the parenthesis, enter. So 22 is the row number where Joseph Clark is listed for the first time, and it can be verified. And now we can use the fill handle to find the row number of James Hernandez, which is row 16. Yes. Now we are going to use index function. We have the row numbers of these two employee names. Now we are going to use these two row numbers and we will try to extract the employee names. Select the cell I8 and type index. Here the first argument is array. Since we are looking for employee names, we will refer column A for row number 22 and close the parenthesis. Enter. We can do it with one more method as well. Type index. Now instead of just referring to a single column, we can refer the table as well. Now row number 22 and column number 1. Close the parenthesis. Enter. So with the help of index function, we can retrieve information based on its row and column numbers. This function is particularly useful when we want to extract data from a table or range using specific coordinates. A two-way lookup function in Excel allows us to retrieve a value from a table using two criteria, one for the row and another for the column. This is particularly useful when we have data organized in a table and need to find a specific value where two conditions intersect. The two-way lookup function can be implemented using a set of functions rather than a single built-in function like VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. One typical method is to combine the index and match functions to carry out the two-way lookup. So let's consider a hypothetical dataset of students and their corresponding scores in various subjects. And suppose we want to find Emily's score in science. So first, we are going to retrieve the row number of Emily, the column number of science, and then use it in an index function to extract the score. That's the basic idea. So to find the row number, we will use the match function. First argument is lookup value. Then the second argument is lookup array. For this, we will refer column A and 0 for exact match. Enter. Similarly, we will find the column number of science, comma 0. Enter. And now we will use index function. For the first argument, we'll refer the table. For row number 3, for column number 3, close the parenthesis, enter. So 78 is the marks that Emily scored in science. We could have also used the match functions with an index function. So again we will refer the table, and here we will type the formula for the match function. Emily, column A, 0. Similarly for science. Row 1, 0. Close the parenthesis, enter. So we get the same answer. While Excel doesn't have a dedicated single function for two-way lookups, we can use a combination of index and match to achieve this functionality and efficiently retrieve data based on two criteria. XLOOKUP enables us to retrieve values based on a lookup value in the same row. The function is only available for Excel 2021 and Microsoft 365 users. This function has changed the way many people use Excel. It's much easier to use in comparison to VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. It has some additional abilities like being able to search a list from the bottom up and also allows wildcard searches as well. Currently, we have the data of state and the respective voters. We want to retrieve the confirmed voters for the state New York. So first select the cell G3, then type XLOOKUP. So the first argument is lookup value, the value we want to search for. Here it is New York, so we will refer the cell G2. Then the second argument is lookup array, the range or array where we want to perform the lookup. So for this, we'll refer column A. Then the third argument is return array. And for this, since we are looking for confirmed voters, we'll refer the column D and close the parenthesis. Enter. So 76,76,000 is the number of confirmed voters, and we can confirm it. Yes. Thus, the XLOOKUP function in Excel addresses limitations and complexities of existing lookup functions, providing a more versatile and intuitive way to perform lookups. It combines the features of several other lookup functions into one, simplifying formula creation and improving efficiency. We all know that to calculate average of numbers, we have average function in Excel. But what if we want to calculate the average of a list, where the list is getting added periodically? This is where offset function comes in handy, and this is what we will be discussing in this video. So let me first explain you what is offset function, and then we will discuss the specific case. The offset function in Excel is a versatile and powerful tool used to reference a range of cells based on a starting point and specified rows and columns from that point. So in front of us, we have a small range of data where we have the name of students and the marks scored in different subjects. Now, with the help of offset function, we will try to extract the marks scored by John in maths. Now the first argument is reference. For this, we will refer the cell A2. Now the second and third argument is rows and columns. That is how many rows and columns away from the reference cell. So we want to go one row down and one column right. And now we have two optional arguments, height and width, and these can never be 0. So we'll put 1 and 1. Enter. So we get the marks scored by John in maths as 100. Now let's say if we play with the height and width. So let's change the height to 2. Enter. So now we get the marks of both John and Jane in maths. Now let's say we want the marks for science as well. So we can simply change the width to 2 and we get the science marks as well. So all in all, this is how we use offset function. So let's head over towards the sales worksheet. So in this worksheet, we have sales data for certain days and we wish to find the total sales of last 5 days. Now this list will change periodically. That is, with time, data will keep on adding. So sales amount and we want to ensure that total sales is updated. It is only for the last 5 days. So first we will select the cell D2, type offset. Now our reference point will be cell B1. Now to calculate the number of rows, we will use the function counta. Counta is a function which is used to calculate the number of non-null rows. And here we will select the range from B2 to B20. This is because more data will come in this list. So we are selecting more than the given range. Now column, we will put 0 because we want to stay in this column only. Now for height. So first understand that the Countif function gives us the result as 8. So it means that our result will start from cell B9. But what do we want? We want the sales of last 5 days. So we want to go up till B5. And for this, in the height argument, we'll put as -5 and width as 1. So this gives the sales of last 5 days. And to get total sales, so we'll simply modify the current formula and we'll add sum to it. Enter. So we get total sales of last 5 days as 717. And now if we add one more sales data point, the total sales of last 5 days will change automatically. So this is the utility of offset function. In summary, the offset function in Excel is a powerful tool that enhances the flexibility of spreadsheets, allowing us to create dynamic ranges and reports that adapt to changing data conditions and user interactions. Creating formulas that use date and time can be a little confusing if we don't have a good understanding of how Excel treats these type of values. But after we are equipped With this understanding, we can begin to make good use of the many date and time functions that the program offers. So, in this and the upcoming sections, we are going to discuss the various date and time functions that Excel offers. To start with, we enter a date like this, where 8 is the month, 1 is the day of the month, and 2022 is the year. We can also reformat this date with the help of Format dialog box. Press Ctrl 1, click on the date option under the Numbers tab. Here we have bunch of options, and if we click on the any of the option, we can see the sample above, like how that date will be represented. For now, I'll select this option and click OK. Also, if we enter an invalid date, let's say date having month greater than 12, then it will be represented on the left, which gives us the cue that it is not correct. And similarly, we can do this for time as well. We can reformat it to time, or let's say 8 am. And also, similarly to the way we reformatted date, we can also reformat time as well. Now, in sheet 1, we have few tasks in front of us, and with the help of these, we will try to understand how date and time work. So, in task 1, we have the date of joining and current date, and we want to find out the experience in days. So, to find that, we can simply create a formula where we are subtracting the current date and the date of joining. So, select cell 4 and type equal to, then refer the cell B3 minus B2. Enter. So 1441 is the number of days, which is the difference between the date of joining and the current date. Now, in the task 2, we have warranty in terms of days, date of purchase, and current date. And we want to find out whether the product is still in warranty or not. So, what we are going to do is we'll simply add 600 to the date of purchase. Since the date that we have calculated is less than the current date, so it means the product is not in warranty. In task 3, we have to simply calculate 180 days before the given date. So we'll subtract 180 from the given date, which is 11th April 2023. And similarly, we'll add 180 to the given date, which is again 5th April 2024. In task 4, we want to find the elapsed time between start time and end time. So we'll create a formula and find the difference between these two given times. Minus start time. So this is the difference between the given two times. Now, an important question arises. How is Excel doing this? This is not of much importance, but this basic logic helps to understand the functionality and reduces the chances of doing mistakes or being confused with dates. Any entry of date and time format is automatically converted behind the scenes into a serial number. So in case of dates, January 1, 1900 is serial number 1, January 2, 1900 is serial number 2, and so forth. The sequence goes on. So let me show this to you. And if I copy these and change the formatting of these two dates, it will be 1 and 2. And now if we subtract both the dates and both the numbers, we will get the same result. So whenever we enter a date in Excel, at the back end, it converts that date into a serial number. And that's how it is able to perform all the operations like addition and subtraction within the dates. Also a quick note, if we are writing 2-digit year like this, and if that 2-digit is in between 0 to 29, then Excel treats that year in the current century. Otherwise, it treats as year of previous century, like this. So just be mindful of this. In this movie, we are going to talk about various date and time functions that are available in Excel. So to extract a year from a given date, we use year function. We'll refer cell A2, enter, and then we'll double click the file handle. Similarly, for month we have the month function. It will give us a serial number of the month, and similarly for day as well. For weekday, we have the weekday function. So let's say we have the year, month and day, and now we again want to create date. So we can use date function. First argument will be year. So we'll refer cell B2 and C2 and D2 for day. Enter. So we have the dates. Now sometimes we want to find the name of the month or the day. To do that, we are going to use another function called the text function. Text function is used to format a value as text based on a specific format code. Here our format is date and we are going to convert it into month. So select the cell where we want the answer to display. Here it is G2. Then type text. Now the first argument will be the date from which we want to extract the month name. So we will refer the cell F2, and for the second argument within inverted commas we will type in 4 times M, which denotes month. Close the parenthesis, enter, and double click the fill handle. Similarly, for the day of the month we will follow the same process, but instead of M we will type DDD. Close the parenthesis, enter. And similarly, from the time we can extract hours, minutes and seconds using the R function for hours. For minutes, we have minute function, and for seconds, we have second function. So that's it from this video. The today function is useful when we want to have the current date displayed on a worksheet regardless of when we open the workbook. The value of this function updates automatically whenever the worksheet recalculates or is opened on a new day. It is also useful for calculating intervals. So let's say we have the birth date and we want to find the age. So to do that, first we will calculate the current date with the help of today function. Enter. And now we will simply subtract the year of current date with the year of birth date. So equal to year minus year of birth date. Enter. So 60 is the current age. Similar to the today function, we have now function. It returns the current date and time, including both the date and the time components. It automatically updates when the worksheet recalculates or is opened. To apply it, simply type now. Enter. Now, in column M, you would have seen that there are few dates listed. But if you closely observe, they are displayed on the left of the column. which means as text entries. Now to change the text entries into date format, we use Datevalue function. To apply this function, simply select cell N2 and type date value, then refer the cell M2, enter. Double click the fin handle and now we will reformat this date to short date. So there you go. That's it for this video. Workdays return a number that represents a date that is indicated number of working days before or after a date. Exclude weekends and any dates identified as holidays. So to use workday function, first select the cell where you want the result to display. In the first argument, we will refer the start date, which is D2. In the second argument, days to completion, which is 10. And right now, we are not considering holidays. So close the parenthesis, enter. In the second scenario, we are considering holidays. That is, we want to exclude them. So again, workdays. Now the start date is D2 and for days, we'll refer the cell D3 and for holiday, cell F2. Now it comes out to be 30th December 2022. Now similarly, if we want to calculate net work days. Now net work day is a function in Excel which returns the number of whole working days between start date and end date. It also excludes weekends and any dates identified in holidays. So to apply it, first select the cell, then type net work days. Here our first argument is start date. We'll refer cell D2 and D3 for end date. So there are 11 days between the project start date and end date. And if we also want to consider holidays, that is, the function needs to exclude holidays. So net work days, start date, end date, and cell F2. So there are 10 net work days within the given two dates. The Datedif function in Excel is used to calculate the difference between two dates in terms of years, months, or days. It is particularly useful for calculating durations between dates for various purposes. However, it is important to note that the Datedif function is not documented in Excel's official help files, but it still works and is widely used. So now, if I type Datedif, I won't get any suggestion like I'm getting for date, date value, EDATE. So I'll have to completely type Datedif. And now the first argument is start date. The second argument is end date. And now we have to specify how we want the difference. In what terms we want the difference. Be it years, months, days. In double inverted commas, we'll specify Y, which denotes years. Enter. So that means within the given two dates, there is difference of 8 years. Similarly, for months, start date, end date, and now double inverted commas, M. Close the parenthesis, enter. So the difference between the two dates is 102 months. And similarly for days as well. So 3103 days is the difference between the given two dates. Now let's say we want to calculate the difference between the given two dates, but we want it to ignore the months and year of the dates and only calculate the difference between the days. So for that, we can use the abbreviation MD. So we'll simply edit the formula M, and now it will only give the difference between the dates and will ignore the month and the year. So let's say if I change it to 5, now the difference will be 4. So that's it for this video. The EDATE or elapsed date function is used to quickly determine the particular date at a particular interval in the future or past. For example, 3 months ahead or 1 month ago. The EDATE function takes two arguments. We will refer the cell C2 for project start date and months as 10. So close the parenthesis, enter, and we'll quickly reformat it. So like this. So this is how we apply EDATE function. Similarly, to apply EOMONTH or end of month function, it helps us to calculate the last day of the month, that is so many months ahead or behind the date that we specify. We use this function to quickly determine the end of the month at a set interval in future or past. So to apply it, type EOMONTH. For start date, we'll refer cell C2, and for months, C3. Enter. So we get the answer as 31st October 2023. So that's how we use EDATE and EOMONTH function. In this section, we will dive into some of the most common and useful text functions, and we will discuss find, search, and mid function. All these functions are powerful tools that allows us to locate specific text within larger strings and extract portions of text based on positions. So currently, in this worksheet, a phrase is written: "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." Now suppose we want to find the position of the word quick, and for that we will use find function. So first select the cell and type find. Now the first argument is find text. So what are we looking for? We are looking for quick, and within the text displayed in cell A1. Close the parenthesis, enter. So we can locate quick at the 5th location, and we can verify it by counting it. THE for 3 and then 1 for space. So the 5th position is Q, where the quick is mentioned. Therefore, the find function is used to locate the position of a specific text within a larger text string. It is case sensitive, which means it distinguishes between uppercase and lowercase letters. Similar to the find function, we have another function which is search, and the only difference is that it is case insensitive, meaning it ignores the case of letters when searching for text. So again, what are we looking for? We are looking for quick, and this time we'll mention it in capital letters within text mentioned in cell A1. Close the parenthesis, enter. Now, talking about the mid function. The mid function extracts a specific number of characters from a text string starting at a specified position. So the first argument is the text, which is mentioned in cell A1. Then the start number. So for the second argument, let's give 5. And the number of characters, 5. So that's how any specific number of characters can be extracted from a text string. There are situations where we need to extract a specified number of characters from the beginning or end of a text string. To do that in Excel, we have left and right function. Whether we are working with names, codes, or any other form of text-based data. These functions provide flexibility and precision in text extraction. In this video, we will have discussion around left and right function. We have a dataset containing product names in column A and locations in column F. So first look at the product codes displayed in column A. We are going to extract the first three characters from the text, that is ABC, LKJ, from these product codes. And to do that, we are going to use the left function. So the first argument is the text, and for this we will refer the cell A2, then the number of characters we want to extract, which is 3. Enter. And we'll double click the fill handle. Similarly, if you want to extract the last 3 characters from the product code, we can use the right function. Close the parenthesis, enter. We could have also used the mid function. To do that, just type mid and the text we are looking for, and then refer the cell A2, then start number, which is 5, and the number of characters, which is 3. Enter. So yes, to perform a specific task, in Excel we have multiple ways. Now, have a look at the column F, where we have states, their abbreviations, and FIPS code. And now, the idea is to separate each of these components into different locations. Now to do that, I am going to share with you a special technique. And the name of that technique is flash fill. First, we will start typing name of the states in column G, only the name of the states. So in G2, first we'll type Alabama, then Alaska, and as soon as I'm about to complete the location of cell F3, Excel will automatically find out the sequence and will suggest it to me. Now I just have to press enter. There you go. Similarly for abbreviations as well. AL, AK, AZ. And now we will double click the fill handle. Just click on this autofill options and flash fill. And similarly for FIPS code as well. That's the power of flash fill. Thus, all these tools are essential for text extraction in Excel. In Excel, the ability to combine text strings is crucial for creating informative labels, building sentences, or merging data for meaningful insights. Concatenation involves joining text elements together, enhancing the presentation and analysis of data. Excel offers various methods for concatenation, including the commonly used ampersand, and operator, and functions like concatenate and text join. These tools empower us to tailor text-based content for various reporting and analysis needs. In this worksheet, we have dataset containing names, first and last name, street address, and zip code. And we are going to use all of these functions one by one, and with the help of them, we are going to merge all of these details mentioned in the given columns. First, we are going to use ampersand to join first name and last name. Press equal to in cell E2, then cell A2 and cell B2. Now with the help of ampersand operator, we have merged first name and last name. But what we actually want is that there should be a space between John and Smith. So for that, within inverted commas, we will give space and again and operator. So now there are 3 components: cell A2, space within inverted commas, and cell B2. And now we can double click the fill handle. Similarly, to use concat function, First we will refer cell A2, then again we'll give space between inverted commas, then text mentioned in cell B2, close the parenthesis, enter. And we can also include other columns as well in similar manner. Zip code, enter. So that's how we merge data from different columns with the help of concat function. Now currently the data we have, it is for only 4 columns. Now just think, if the data is for, let's say, from column A till column K, then it becomes tiring to give space between all of these text strings. So to overcome that, we have text join function. So text join function makes our task pretty simple. So the first argument is delimiter. Here we are going to mention the space, that there should be a space between all the text strings. Then we are going to ignore the second argument, and now we will simply select the range from cell A2 to D2 within row 2. Close the parenthesis, enter. So that's how we use concat, text join and ampersand functions in Excel. They are invaluable tools in Excel, especially when we want to merge data. Text formatting is crucial for maintaining consistency and readability in Excel spreadsheets. Functions like trim, upper, lower, and proper offer efficient ways to modify text data. Whether we need to remove excess space, standardize capitalization, or enhance the presentation of names and addresses, these functions streamline text formatting tasks. In this worksheet, we have some names listed in column A. And right now, with the help of these functions, we are going to transform them into more readable and presentable format. So first, we are going to use trim function. And even before that, let's try to find out the length of all these names with the help of length function, which is len in Excel. Enter. So there are 16, and for John Cena there are 11 spaces. So let's have a look. So John for 4, space for 1, and Cena for 4. So there should be 9 letters, but there are 2 more because of the extra space given after Cena. So there are situations when a text string might look like that it is small, but its actual length might be far more because of the extra spacing given at the end. So in all these situations, trim function comes in handy. So to use trim function, first select the cell B2 and type trim and refer cell A2. Enter. And double click the fill handle. Now if we try to find the length of all the names, it would be pretty much accurate what it should be. We are going to use upper function to convert the text to uppercase, ensuring uniform capitalization. Double click the fill handle. Similarly, we have a lower function as well. Again, we'll refer cell C2, enter. It ensures that there is consistency in the case. And finally, if we want the names to be in their standard form, which is the first letter in capital and rest in small, for that we are going to use proper function. Enter. So the proper function capitalizes the first letter of each word, making text more readable. So all these functions are invaluable when working with names, addresses, or any text-based content, ensuring the spreadsheets maintain a consistent and professional appearance. Excel provides functions like replace and substitute that empowers user to modify text contents within cells. These functions are incredibly useful for tasks like replacing specific characters or substrings, correcting errors, and adapting data to fit desired formats. Whether we need to update addresses, correct typos, or adjust formatting, these functions offer efficient ways to manage text data. In this worksheet, we are going to perform 4 tasks mentioned in front of us with the help of replace and substitute function. The replace function is used to replace a specific portion of text with another text within a given string. It is based on the position of the text. To apply it, there are various methods. There is replace function, then in the editing tools of home tab, we have find and select, and from there as well we can have access to replace function, or we can simply press Ctrl H. So first let us use replace function. Now the first argument is old text. Now what we want to replace AB by PD. So the start number of A is 5th, number of characters 2, and we want to replace it with PD. So within inverted commas, PD. Enter. Now we want to replace 8th character by 7. So again with replace function, first argument the old text, then start number is 8. We want to replace one character with new text which is 7. Enter. So earlier it was 4321, now it is 7321. And now the third task is to replace plus by minus. So for this we'll press Ctrl H, and now we want it to find plus, replace it with minus, and now with the help of find next we are going to find the plus sign. So it is currently referring to cell A8, which is the correct cell, and now we'll simply click on replace. There you go. It has simply replaced plus character by minus. With the help of find and replace, we can also replace any specific text from the whole sheet in one go. So let's say we want to replace all the minuses with plus. So we will simply click on replace all. So all done. Excel has made 9 replacements. So all are changed from minus to plus. So I'll just press Ctrl C to undo. Now similar to replace function, we have another function which is substitute function. Its working is quite similar to replace function, but here we can specify the specific instance. So let me explain this to you. Now the text will be the first argument, which is cell A8. Now what do we want to replace, which is old text, that is minus. We want to replace it by plus, and we want to replace minus of the second instance, that is the one which is in between OP minus 9012. So we'll mention 2 here, which denotes second instance. Close the parenthesis, enter. So that's how we use replace and substitute function. Both these are powerful ways to modify text data in Excel. Text extraction functions in Excel, such as Textbefore, Textafter, and Textsplit, are valuable tools for breaking down and extracting specific portions of text strings. These functions are particularly useful when we need to split a text string into parts based on certain delimiters, or retrieve portions of text before or after a particular character or substring. By mastering these functions, we can efficiently manage and manipulate text data to suit our needs. So talking about Textbefore function, here we will try to extract string before @. So to do it, equal to text before, refer cell A2, delimiter, and close the parenthesis. Double click the file handle. Similarly, we can extract portion of string after using Textafter. Double click the file handle. And with the help of the split function, we can split a text string into an array based on a specified delimiter. So to do that, again we will refer cell A2 and add the rate and just close the parenthesis. And simply drag the fill handle. So all these functions are invaluable tools when we want to extract specific portions of text strings. Congratulations on completing the Excel Formulas and Function course. You have embarked on a learning journey that has unlocked the incredible potential of Excel's formulas and functions. As you reflect on your achievements, remember that your journey doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. Your newly acquired skills have the power to reshape the way you work with data, making you a more efficient and effective professional. And always remember, learning is a continuous journey. Excel is a versatile tool, and your mastery of it can open doors to a wide range of career possibilities. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep excelling. Thank you for choosing us as your learning partner. It's been a pleasure to have you on this journey. And if you are hungry for more knowledge, watch out for our upcoming specialized Excel courses. You can also follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn.